Welcome to the PTTS. Today's day is February 5th, 2026. My name is Nang Hong Lam. Today's PTTS sessions video is on PTTS Exclusive First Magazine update. Well, it's kind of like, in a way, I have been kind of like updating the PTTS Exclusive First Magazine through my blog by posting up flyers and announcement and all of that. And also in these PTTS sessions videos is the time I would kind of like inform what's going on with my PTTS Exclusive First Magazine progress and things like that. So kind of like, in a way, there has been pretty much, it's just like a quick note, and so in some of the video I would point that out. So I don't really usually go and do like one of these update video on PTTS Exclusive First Magazine because of that reason that I have been kind of pointing out with other videos and also on my blog and things like that. Anyway, pretty much I just wanted to, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's back to like that argument, it's like, how miserable am I right now and things like that. I have to pause the video because of the background activities. Anyway, I'm going to continue while the background activity is going on. Pretty much, so back to what I was saying. Anyway, it's like that like I was talking about that argument about how miserable am I today and things like that. And anyway, I'm trying to get past that argument and continue with this video. And anyway, pretty much, I don't know, it's like, it's pretty kind of like, in a way, it's like painful and misery, just like all of a sudden, I'm hearing these arguments is about, because I'm, especially like on my last video on my situations, emergency affairs documentary second update, I was really stressing about how stressful I am writing that documentary. So especially in that second update video, because I was stressing on how stressful I was. So I'm buying this whole argument that I'm just gonna totally stop with my PTT Exclusive First Magazine and just focus on my situation, emergency affair documentary. And it just totally that documentary is also in the PTTS Exclusive First Magazine. It's like totally like, what's going on? I'm still working on PTTS Exclusive First Magazine. It's like, okay, I have to pause the video because of the background activities. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm gonna continue while the background activity is going on. Pretty much, I'm gonna continue where I left off. Pretty much, I was saying about, like my situations, emergency affair documentary will be in PTT Exclusive First Magazine, and also it is one of the it's a longer content because it's it's a really long, kind of like in a way, it's cover a lot of events in my life, so it's a longer content than other contents. So anyway, and I'm trying to put that also in front of the magazine, like so once I getting close to finish it, I will schedule to have that as early part, like kind of in the more in the front of the magazine, like the as front as I can, according to how my progress on writing that documentary. Kind of it's in my situation, emergency affair means it is an emergency, so kind of have to be more in the front and things like that. Okay, so pretty much, so that's why I'm a bit hot and bothered by, it's like, why all of a sudden there's this thought that I have stopped on working on PTTS Exclusive First Magazine to focus on writing my situation, emergency affairs documentary. So I don't know, like, it just really hot and bothered by this argument, because especially because it's just I've been saying that my this PTTS Exclusive First Magazine is kind of like I was stressing on that is my last chance for redemption, and it's like kind of like in a way it's very important, and just how would I just all of a sudden just stop on that? And it's like, anyway, tomorrow, March 6th, Friday, will be the day I will post up the next post for PTT Exclusive First Magazine, which is around, suppose, like I've been saying in the announcement and the flyers, that each post is either 1 to 3 magazine page, if there's a lot of illustration in those pages, or 5 to 10 magazine pages if there were not a lot of illustration in those pages. So it's the next post will be like around 5 to 10 magazine pages, because it is not that much illustration in those pages. But I still have to go through putting them into magazine format, and so it's like in a higher quality and everything. Anyway, pretty much, I still need to finish up, like adding a few things, but I'm saying, still have like about a whole one more day, until tomorrow, so kind of could just finish up what I need to finish up, and tomorrow post it up and things like that. Anyway, if you really paying very close attention to what I was saying in those videos when I talk about PTTS Exclusive First Magazine, then you know that I have been working on it for a while, like months before I made the schedule to post it up. So kind of like in a way, I already have a lot of contents that felt that had to get me started on it and things like that. So like in that, pretty much, like I saying, like I have a lot of the contents that felt like I have put some work into it, and so pretty much like every 2 weeks I made a post. It's kind of like in a way, so that I don't get too stressed out about only have 2 weeks of time, and felt like, because I already have done a lot on those contents, so in these 2 weeks of time, like I'm just kind of like in a way, like the final touch to those magazine pages before posting it up and things like that. but like like right now, there is the My Situations Emergency Affairs documentary. This would be like an exception because which is about some days ago I started writing this one because I felt that this one should, because of the pretty much in Basta Retribution, the story that I have came to a stopping point. Basta Retribution, Paradox Incognito, I come to a stopping point on that. Like it, in those chapters that it's kind of like I wrote, kind of like deal with the conspiracies about the story I have wrote, and just one of them has created a lot of, like a sort of like that conspiracy of just one story I wrote have made a huge impact to the city of San Diego and things like that. So pretty much and I have talked about it in Basta Retribution, Paradox Incognito, Force Update, and that title I wrote is called Winter Leaves, and kind of like in a way, and it's just that one story that have created this conspiracy that have a big impact on San Diego and things like that. So that is why I felt like I need to write My Situation Emergency Affair documentary, because I didn't just write one story when to leave and things like that. Okay, back to PTTS Exclusive First Magazine update. Alright, so pretty much these 5 to 10 magazine pages is very important because it is the copyright and also PTTS agenda. So pretty much it's about, like all the my pretty much like what I have on the copyright of PTTS, and also what I have on PTTS agenda, and it felt like these are very important documents that that kind of like felt that to set the different, that this independent company PTTS is not just like a college club or something like that, kind of like in a way that I have put some time into it, and these documents prove that, like the amount of work and time I put into it and things like that. So it can't, so it doesn't get confused, like, maybe just like because of having involved with college club and things like that. So there might be, this argument that it might be just like another college club or something like that. It's like, anyway. So the coming up pose on the copyright and PTTS agenda. So kind of like in a way, give this overview of that, and to avoid this sort of confusion and misunderstanding. I I have moved from the kitchens to the large area of my house. This is basically where I type out my articles or work on my PTTS Exclusive First Magazine, and then I would go to the North Claremont branch library to post it up on my PTTS blog. Okay, anyway, pretty much I have for now, like, it's just to not for now I'm calling my situation emergency affairs. The story is basically as Balantica. So kind of like in a way, you just have to, like, I will. This is PTTS Exclusive First Magazine update. So maybe in another video where I talk about my situation. I mean, I did already have 2 updates on my situation emergency affairs documentary. You could watch those videos, those 2 for now, for more detail on my situation emergency affair documentary updates. But I will have more updates on that. But this video is on PTTS Exclusive First Magazine update. So I'm trying to focus on that instead of getting carried away on my situation emergency affair documentary. Anyway, so if you wanted to know more about my situation emergency affair documentary, go search on YouTube on my channel for those 2 update videos that I have made on my situation emergency affair documentary. Anyway, I have decided to call that my situation emergency affair documentary affairs, the story that I wrote, as Balantica. So anyway, pretty much I'm gonna read what I wrote. So it's TCG development and Balantica. Balantica, also known as my situation emergency affairs. Since I'm already doing what I can to get words out to the world about PTTS, so I decided that the independent company PTTS funded all my works. Example, PTTS is my workshop, studio, or laboratory, or all of my works of PTTS Productions. 27 years of peer determinations and championship to give everything I got to TCG could be argued as high stake or a lot of stakes is on the line. So I added another production name, Bastard Retribution Productions, to my TCG development. TCG name of my TCG development, Adoras Bio of Conspiracy. The base set name, Bastard Retributions. So pretty much, I'm just gonna stop reading for a minute. I just want to add a quick note to that. I like those names that's what I want. Like I'm saying, I don't know what will happen, like what if someone give me a lot of money, like to see if I could change the name or something like that. Let's just say a scenario, I don't know what will happen. I don't know, so I don't know if that kind of scenario would happen or not, and things like that. So pretty sure, I felt like, I'm pretty certain to go with the names that I wrote and things like that. Like I'm saying, because I felt like those kind of scenario might not happen, like a person, investor, decided to want to pay me a lot of money to invest in my thesis development and wanted to go with another name and things like that. Like I was saying, it's just okay. Anyway, I just have to add that to kind of be on the same page and things like that. Okay, so I'm gonna continue reading. I have no choice because writing Balantica is my situation emergency affairs. Read my situation emergency affair documentary for more information. Okay, I just want to pause. Pretty much I will correct this by saying read my situation emergency affair documentary on the later on contents for more information. Just like adding another word like later on contents, because it's also in this PTTS Exclusive First Magazine. The documentary is also in this magazine. Okay, I'm going to continue reading. Because it is emergency affairs, this means each event of my life in this documentary are very important. So it is hard for me to select events of my life to show as a sample, but I'm going to select events of my life to show as a sample. Okay, I'm gonna pause again. Like I was just saying, yesterday I was pretty much kind of just very stressed out and wrote this, cause I just felt I don't know if I would have enough time to finish the documentary so that it would be in this magazine, and so I decided that just to show a sample of it, and then if if the readers for some reason I don't know, to give a reader a sample of it, even though the documentary will be in this magazine, but just to give. So I don't know, and because it is also very important events, is what I'm saying is what I'm reading right now might not be exactly what it's gonna be on when I post it up on my magazine page. I'm gonna make some corrections to it, but that's what I'm saying. But but it is it's similar to what I'm reading right now. Pretty much, it's just because these are very important events. That's why I'm very stressed out writing about it. So I, just. Okay, I'm gonna read those few lines again. Because it is emergency affairs, this means each events of my life in this documentary are very important. So it is hard for me to select events of my life to show as a sample. But I'm going to select events of my life to show as a sample. Kind of like in a way, I felt that it all sort of like a domino effect, it's all connected. And, just reading a few samples might not get the whole pictures and everything, because they're all connected like a domino effect and things like that. Okay, I just felt like there is some kind of problem with this like with what I just said. So I'm gonna pause this video and to check what's the problem, and then I'm gonna continue where I left off.